Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to another episode of Comment, Foolery, Exposed. Today we will be going through a couple of divested channels, some of the kind of black women's femininity channels, black hypergamy channels. So if you're new here and you are just now getting over to these pretty girl streets, you might have heard that apparently as Exoticals, we are black male identified. So forget the fact that I have an over 25-part series on decentering men. Forget the fact that I have banned or nearly blocked 90% of the men who used to be on this channel. Oh no, forget that. We are male-centered and black male-centered at that. But my thing is, if we're black male-centered and you guys are divesting and don't want black males, then why would you care who does want black males? Like, seriously, if you're truly decentered from men or you don't care about who black men are dating, why would you even care, even if there are girls over here who have dated black guys? So that's question number one. But let's get into the comment foolery. So this comment says, the Exoticals big mad, we won't play their hierarchy games anymore. So this comment was found over on Chrissy's channel, and isn't it hilarious how this channel actually says not to have hierarchy thinking? But no, forget all of that. The whole reason that we have all created our YouTube channels is because we want to be at the top of the hierarchy. And even if you think about that term, hierarchy in front of who? Who is the audience that is seeing us on this hierarchy? Who gets to decide who's number 1, 2, and 3 on the hierarchy? So do you see how they put their foot in their own mouth every single time? This one says, beautiful dark-skinned black women, please stop calling these light black, light biracials, preferences, exoticals, red bones, or yellow bones. I feel like we insult ourselves by using those words. Oh, so it's funny how when they were using it as an insult against us, and then we took back all of these terms, we took back all of those phrases, now suddenly they want to take back the insults and say, oh wait, no, we shouldn't have insulted them and called them preferences. We shouldn't have called them exotic. We should have just not said that because we're insulting ourselves. So do you see how they're now backtracking with their initial labels that they placed on us? She says, by the way, we are the true Exoticals. So she's telling black women not to call us Exoticals because it's insulting to black women, while simultaneously encouraging black women to call themselves Exoticals. Yeah, it's giving clown energy. So now that we've taken back that phrase, Exotical, they're literally getting jealous of it now and saying, oh, we are the real Exoticals. So a couple years ago, channels like Chrissy's were making videos about Cassie saying when red bone Exoticals don't prefer black men. You know, she made a video about Cassie marrying a white man. And now that we have taken back that insult that was promoted on those channels, suddenly dark-skinned, unambiguous black women now want to say, by the way, we are the true Exoticals. So do you see how anytime we take back a certain phrase, their pedestalization comes out? Because if they see us wanting something or they see us doing something, they'll rush over to our spaces. Now they're rushing to take back these terminologies that we have now taken on for ourselves. So it was okay to call us exotical as a slur, but it's not okay for us to call ourselves exoticals as a term of endearment. Now they want that term back. Now she's saying, oh no, us dark-skinned, unambiguous black women are the real exoticals. She says, from our skin complexion to our hair to our features to our beauty, others don't look nor compare to us. So notice how it's okay if a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman calls herself an exotical and says, from her skin complexion to her hair to her features and beauty, others' looks don't compare to us. But if I were to say that exact same thing on this channel, I'm a colorist. And also, did you notice how whenever somebody has tried to drag me, they have no actual proof of me being colorist, texturist, and featurist? So now they're resorting to saying, oh no, she's not an overt colorist, she's a covert colorist. And now we've got people fake doxing me. They're trying to pull up screenshots of random women on the internet being racist and say that I'm a part of them. I've even got people at this point trying to link me to the KKK. I mean, they're really going out of their way to try to paint us out to be racist and colorist so that they can be the real exoticals. This one says, I saw a couple of videos out of curiosity and sis is trying to be the Sin G of exoticals. First of all, even though I have given smoke to Cynthia G, that's actually not an insult. I mean, Cynthia G had good decentering men content. I don't like her content that she made about mixed race women. I didn't like the content about the biracials. But, I mean, that's really not the insult you think it is. Somebody else said, it's giving those vibes, to be honest. In one of her videos, she said something along the lines of the corners of black women's noses reaching the corners of their mouths / our noses looking like an animal and being shaped like a rectangle. I'm South African, living amongst people with very ethnic and Bantu features. I was deeply appalled, to say the least. So when did I say that the corners of black women's noses reaching the corners of their mouths make them look like an animal? So do you see how they're literally pulling stuff out of nowhere? By the way, she is referencing my What is an Exotical series, where I talked about the different features, and I talked about featureism against lighter skinned people. I talked about what the black community will view as exotic and what they view as quote unquote ugly, such as Ice Spice's features being, Bantu. Ice Spice has Nigerian features. She has Nigerian facial features. And now, since I'm calling out the differences in features, I must be a featurist too. This one says, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one YouTube kept trying to push their Exotical channels onto. I'm like, I never subscribed to any of this kind of content. What the hell? So the way the algorithm works, Princess Diary 2020s, who has a picture of an Exotical in your photo. So the way the algorithm works is YouTube recommends videos based on what you clicked on. So just because you don't subscribe to any Exotical channels, that doesn't mean that you're not clicking on them. So you're watching them, and that's actually what's most important, is the views and watch time. And so by watching them, you're actually putting them up in the algorithm. Oh, and speaking of views, watch times, and algorithms, let's take a look at Chrissy's most recent views. Since she wanted to talk about struggle channels, notice how her top videos are actually the videos about Exoticals, exposing my Exotical stalkers, how to spot Exotical gaslighting, recognize game when you see it, dark-skinned women. So notice how those ones got way more views, triple the views, than this most recent one where she's talking about the new moon in Gemini. And also, even if you look at some of her content from a couple weeks prior to that, she's got stuff on here from a month ago and 4 months ago. Meanwhile, Chrissy's content on Exoticals already has the views matching her former videos from months ago. So that means that her fastest growing content right now, if she were to pull up her analytics, her fastest growing content is actually the Exotical content. And so who's really struggling? Because notice how people love to say that people should stay away from us and we're not relevant, but then they want to talk about us. So it's like, if we're not relevant, or if the men, if you think we're male-centered and all that, and you're not male-centered, then why would you care? Why would you care about Exoticals who are dating Exotical men or mixed men? I don't know if they consider mixed men to be black men. I don't know. But why would you care if you're not, quote unquote, competing, like how Chrissy says? So then we've got this divester channel here. She says, Exoticals United, leave us alone. Exotical and biracial women's obsession with black American women. So it's funny how she says that we have an obsession with black American women, not realizing that I have black American Exoticals on my channel, not to mention the fact that I myself have a black American background. So I'm definitely starting to believe that a lot of these women are lacking in critical thinking skills, because you can tell that most of these women are not even watching the content. They're literally just listening to whatever or automatically assuming the worst. It reminded me of how Chrissy said, don't compliment Indians because most of them are racist. So it's giving the same vibe. Don't watch Exoticals because most of them are racist. Most of them are colorist. So do you see how there's like this automatic negative attitude that a lot of these women have? Then we've got this girl saying, I'm very dark-skinned and had men call me exotic, and I had more black men call me exotic. These women are competing over the black male gaze. So you just spent a whole sentence bragging about how you're black and how exotic you are according to the black male gaze. Meanwhile, you're saying that we are competing over the black male gaze. But you randomly started bragging over your exoticism in the black male gaze. This girl says, I noticed that EU is very obsessed with dark-skinned black women on her channel. Oh yeah, I'm so obsessed because I give celebrity commentary. Ignore the fact that Queen Chama, I Am Eloho, Paris Milan, Chrissy, Cynthia G, and pretty much every content creator, black or white, on YouTube, because by the way, I watch Sloan, I watch Storm Monroe, I watch Lovely T.I., I watch The Impressive Channel. They can comment on whatever celebrities they want, black, white, mixed, Asian, but if Exoticals United makes any celebrity commentary videos on unambiguous black women, she is automatically obsessed with dark-skinned black women. So have you ever noticed how if you don't give dark-skinned black women attention, then they'll say, you're minimizing the plight of unambiguous dark-skinned black women. You're not promoting unambiguous dark-skinned black women. You're acting like there are no attractive dark-skinned black women, Exoticals United. And then when I give my commentary and talk about Kelly Rowland, then suddenly she's very obsessed with dark-skinned black women. So do you see how they do this thing where it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't? So if I don't talk about unambiguous women, I'm ignoring them and I'm trying to pretend like they don't exist and I'm minimizing them and I'm contributing to them being invisible. But if I do talk about them, suddenly I'm obsessed and I'm throwing stones at them and I'm weaponizing their insecurities. She says, her conversations are very centered around others' heritage, and she often fails to mention the fact that a lot of black people in America have some admixture or have been mixed up with other races than just white for centuries. I can tell by this sentence alone that you've probably not even watched 5 of the videos on my YouTube channel because I talk about that all the time. She says, sounds to me that they just want to believe they are better than dark-skinned black women for having proximity to these things, not understanding that these same dark-skinned black women they have animosity for can be indigenous, European, and even South Asian ancestry. Oh yeah, so ignore the fact that we've got plenty of women over here who have dark-skinned exotical channels. Ignore all of that because this channel is ignoring their existence, apparently, according to this girl. She says, I don't understand why she keeps bragging about these things like us black people care. Well, obviously you do care because you're leaving a paragraph-long comment about a channel who you haven't even watched because you just tried to imply that we don't have any dark-skinned exoticals on here. She says, like us black people care about these things more than she does when we mind our business. The comments she made about West Africans and Bantu features made me nauseous. It's like you can literally hear her slip up with her true nefarious thoughts about black women. So I'm curious, respectfully _ what exact comments did I make about West Africans and Bantu features? Because last time I checked, this channel talks extensively about the featureism that you guys promote against light-skinned women with West African and Bantu features such as Ice Spice. She says, there's nothing wrong with being mixed or biracial, but the expectation that monoracial black women should worship you and kiss the ground you walk on is narcissistic. So do you notice how she's just projecting this narcissism onto me? She's saying, oh, I think that monoracial black women should worship me and kiss the ground that I walk on. Oh yeah, because I've definitely said that. Oh, you guys should just worship me. She says, why on earth would any black woman with a healthy self-esteem do that? Well, since you want to talk about black women's self-esteem, respectfully _ let's talk about the white male worship that you guys have going on over there. Let's talk about the thirst that a lot of you guys have been showing on white men's Instagram. Let's talk about you guys calling white men's dicks bubblegum peen and having phrases like, once you go Asian, your credit gets to raisin, or lusting after non-black men, lusting after Indian men. Let's talk about that, since you want to talk about black women's healthy self-esteem. This person says, the moment I kinda saw her in a weird light is when she tried to make Tika Sumpter look bad by using a very bad picture of her. She's not a good person, and she's literally gaslighting in her channel, pretending that these receipts don't exist. So let me show you the exact photos that I have used of Tika Sumpter on this channel. You guys all know that I attempt to show unambiguous African American women in their natural state. With Tika Sumpter, I had a hard time finding photos of her with her natural hair. So the closest I could find was this photo here. I think this photo is beautiful. Why is it that you, Bree-RW7IK, think that Tika Sumpter looks bad? What looks bad about this? All I see is a dark-skinned black woman with textured hair and broader features. Why is it that a lot of unambiguous women don't want to admit that they don't like seeing that combination? A lot of them do not like the combination of broad features, dark skin, and the textured hair all at the same time. That's why she's saying that my Tika Sumpter photo looked bad, because in her mind, I should have shown Tika Sumpter with a lace front or with her hair completely straightened or relaxed, and I should have shown her with more makeup on. And so one moment it's, oh, Exoticals United doesn't represent dark-skinned black women, and then the next moment when I do show a beautiful dark-skinned black woman, suddenly she's not good enough. Literally every photo that I've ever shown on this channel of a dark-skinned black woman has been criticized. They criticized my Ari Lennox photos. They said, you showed Ari Lennox caught off guard. They were like, you showed Ari Lennox in a photo and she didn't have makeup on. This is the exact photo I showed of Ari Lennox. It's her in her natural state. She has on a cute little top. She appears to be standing outside. I have also shown this photo of Ari Lennox where she is wearing makeup. They just won't admit they don't like that combination of the dark skin, the broad features, and type 4 hair. This person says, I call them the Eroticals. They got sex workers over there. So, Creole Chief 100, how would you know that any of these women are Eroticals unless you are soliciting sex workers? And also, why would you be keeping up with sex workers if you look down on them or if you don't like them? This person says, the Exoticals and Princellas, 2 channels I looked at, and it didn't take long before I heard something that just wasn't right. Chrissy, you stay doing you. You do it well. Yeah, I've noticed that Chrissy takes a lot of shots at Princella as well. It's very clear that Chrissy just does not seem to like content creators who have a black female audience. She doesn't like articulate content creators who are pulling some of her black audience. She called Princella a man with a vagina, and then she tried to shame me for being divorced. And also, that is a male-centered talking point from Chrissy, shaming someone for being divorced. That's actually very male-centered because you're implying that my value is lower because I'm not married to a man. And speaking of marriage, rumor has it that allegedly Chrissy was in an engagement for 8 years. Some people say he was a black man, some people say he was a white man. I will say it's even worse if she was engaged to a white man for 8 years. I mean, that's even worse. Imagine being so pro-marriage because Chrissy has tried to say I'm anti-marriage. You know, she's shaming me because I don't promote marriage like how she does. So she's saying I'm anti-marriage and I'm radicalized and I'm divorced. She also threw shots at Princella for breaking up with that girl and, you know, saying that Princella was a man with a vagina. So clearly she just doesn't like articulate light-skinned women who are pulling in some of her black audience. That's all it is. This is literally about subscribers in her eyes. She wants to be the only voice that gets to be a part of the discussion on these quote-unquote black spaces on YouTube. And so I've noticed that anytime she can't argue with somebody's talking points, because Princella, she does have some strong talking points if you're a part of like the decentering men movement and stuff. So anytime Chrissy can't argue with people's talking points, she will try to argue against them personally, and she'll try to bring up their personal lives or whatever. So she brought up Princella's going through a breakup. She brought up me being divorced. So she's shaming women who are basically not like her. But then if I were to do the same thing, I'd be called a colorist. And by the way, even in Princella's case, her breakup, that still doesn't negate her talking points about men, because if I'm not mistaken, she's pulling up journals, you know, she's pulling up studies. She kind of does similar things to what I do on this channel. She's pulling up anecdotal evidence, screenshots, definitions. So once again, when you can't argue with someone's talking points, you have to try to shame them or make them look like a bad person. This person says, YouTube is low-key trying to put me on game and always recommends those channels a couple of months before Chrissy gathers them. It happened with the Bird Vesters, the Decenterers, and now the Psychoticals. Each time I click just to know what's up, I'm like, she's weird, and I'm never ready for how deeply disturbed these people actually are. So do you see how this person actually exposes Chrissy in her own comment? She admits that Chrissy has come for the Divesters, the Decenter Men movement, and now the Psychoticals. So I'm noticing a pattern here. Notice how anytime there's a big voice for black women, so the divestors, that's led by black women. Some of the black women divestors are very articulate. I mean, even though I think that a lot of the divestment content is kind of creepy, some of them are gathering a lot of subscribers. So notice how Chrissy attacked the top divested black women. She attacks the decentering movement content creators, and now she's attacking us. Why? It's because she doesn't like when her subscribers are listening to other people. She wants to be the only one that you listen to. I have never in my life heard Chrissy promote other YouTube channels. I've never heard her openly promote more than 10 YouTube channels on her live streams, ever. Because she has that hyper-competitive mindset. Everything's a competition. This person says, it's no longer trendy, and I guess these exoticals are scraping at any last attempt to have some kind of relevancy to let us black women know we are beneath them, LMAO. So it's funny how suddenly we are scraping to have relevancy, and it's like, first of all, what in the Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Beyonce, and Rihanna are you talking about? Exoticals have never been irrelevant. We never will be irrelevant. The divestment movement and the swirling movement, and then black men being passport bros or getting with these white women, you guys are creating us. The multiracial people are one of the fastest growing people groups. So what are you talking about when you say we don't have relevance? Because the last time I checked, Chrissy's entire channel was started because you guys felt like dark-skinned black women had no relevance. And so you guys are the ones who are like, oh, we want to have positive promotion. Okay, well, why would you have to fight for positive promotion if you have so much relevance in every area? So that was a clown talking point. Exoticals are irrelevant. Nobody knows you. Nobody's watching you guys anyway. Nobody cares about these light skins. This person says, we black women don't have to compete with them for Tyrones. We create these men and we create these exoticals. They better stop testing black women's patience. Yeah, that's exactly the point. So how are you going to create us? By the way, this is one of my theories. It's that a lot of people want to date us or create us. So how are you going to date mixed race men or date white men and you create more of us and then you get mad at our existence? And also with her saying they better stop testing black women's patience, what is that supposed to mean? You're no longer going to have babies, or you're going to go and have babies with unambiguous black men now so that no more mixed race people are born? Like, what does that even mean? What are you going to do about it? Because the last time I checked, unambiguous black men and black women have had so much vitriol for each other that both groups are swirling, creating more mixed people. This person says, in a snap of a finger, we can literally stop creating all of them. We tolerate these exoticals and they don't even realize it. Okay, so if you're just tolerating us, then why are you constantly pedestalizing women like Beyonce, Rihanna, Tyla, Ice Spice? You guys are the ones who are buying their music. You're following them on social media. You're liking their pics on Instagram. You're swirling with their family members. You're swirling with Indian men. Tyla is the product of Indian people. You're swirling with Hispanic men. Ice Spice is the product of Hispanic people. You're swirling with white men. Mulatto, the rapper, is a product of black and white people. So what are you talking about? You can stop creating we just tolerate you guys. Yeah, nice try. But anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.